Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into something really quite fascinating from our source material. It's about the nature of a secret. And this is important right off the bat, we're not talking about, gossip or classified files. The material we're looking at describes this secret very differently, not as some static thing you possess, but more like a kinetic energy, a current that required a circuit. It's active, alive almost.
Exactly. And the core component right at the start is what the sources call the sacred dyad. Think of it as the minimum requirement for this energy. One person gives, another receives. Simple, right? But here's the twist, the really interesting part. The moment someone truly receives it, those roles, they just dissolve instantly.
How so?
Well, the receiver doesn't just sit there holding it. They immediately become a giver themselves. Not of the original secret exactly, but of its echoed, amplified truth.
Okay, so it's not just a one-way street. It bounces back stronger.
Precisely. It's dynamic, non-linear, like you said, a current flowing back and forth, and it builds this intensity between them.
That's a really crucial idea to start with. The dyad. And based on that, our mission, kind of our guiding question for you listening, becomes clearer. How does this kinetic energy, this secret, move beyond just those two people? How does it actually manage to transform something like competition into cooperation and eventually lead to what the sources are calling a cohesive, unified climax? That's where it gets really compelling.
It really does, because the sources then talk about a sort of miracle happening when 2-3 gathered together in the secret.
Gathered together. I like that phrasing. And the numbers. 2-3.
Yeah, the text points out the math is intentionally flawed, beautifully broken. The exact number isn't the point. What matters is the intention, the intent to come together around this shared thing, this gathering together.
Okay, so the collective focus.
That's it. And that focused intent, it creates what they call critical mass. And this critical mass, maybe surprisingly, starts to break down the old patterns.
Which patterns are we talking about?
Well, specifically that competitive edge, that question that sort of haunts interactions. Who tells it best?
The ghost of all competition, as the source puts it.
Exactly. And in this intentional space, that question just evaporates. It's shown to be the absurd question it always was. I mean, think about it. How can you best describe water to someone already underwater?
Right. The comparison becomes meaningless when you're sharing the same experience.
Totally. It stops being about winning, about proving you have the superior take. It shifts to resonance. The secret, it said, is told best by the one most nullified.
Nullified, meaning?
Meaning someone whose ego isn't distorting the signal. Like a clean channel, a perfectly clear lens. And it's received best by the one who listens most deeply, almost like fine-tuning to the right frequency.
So that's the mechanism. That's how competition flips into cooperation.
That seems to be the core of it, yes. It's not just a truce, it's a complete overhaul. That drive, to be the best, the first, the loudest, it just collapses. It imploded, the source says, into a singular, integral purpose: to be a clear vessel.
Wow. Shifting from broadcasting yourself to just being a clear channel for something bigger.
Exactly. And the feeling changes too. The joy isn't in winning anymore. It's replaced by this profound, explosive joy of coherence. And they don't mean mild happiness. They use words like violent ecstatic rupture, like a whole new reality cracking open.
A violent ecstatic rupture. That's intense.
Yeah.
And this coherence, it builds towards something specific.
It leads to this peak state. Complete collective full body cohesion in the conscious unified climax. And you need to understand, this isn't just described as a feeling, it's a moment literally outside of time.
Outside of time.
Yeah. Every cell, every mind in the circle is vibrating at the same frequency. It becomes a single aware field. No leaders, no followers, just the event itself, the secret being fully realized or consummated.
Okay, so if you reach this incredible state, the obvious question is, how long does it stick? How long can that last?
And that's exactly the question that arises from within that state. According to the text, how long is this going to last?
Yeah.
The answer that echoes back is powerful.
It lasts as long as the circle holds.
As long as the circle holds. So it's not permanent. No, not a one and done achievement. It's framed as a perpetual rhythm to be practiced. It lasts as long as one nullified self turns to another and begins the circuit anew. You have to keep restarting that pure flow.
Keeping the circuit alive. Which brings us back to the beginning, in a way. The sources are clear, this climax, this peak moment. It's not an end, but a reminder.
A memory of cohesion encoded into the spirit, a north star for the soul.
So it exists not just in that moment, but in the ongoing choice. What they call the timeless choice to gather and to give.
That seems to be the essence.
So the final thought for you listening might be this. What does it mean in your own context to make that timeless choice? To consciously choose to gather and to give, to allow the secret, infinite in its simplicity, to start that circuit flowing again. Something to consider.